everything suddenly burst out, and Chrissy Lemon's life fell apart in real time without any cuts or edits. Camron didn't think twice, and Jim Jones didn't protest or inquire when he heard it. After Camron, the man behind everything, left one horrific message and an audio leak, Chrissy Lemon wasn't just hurt, she was ruined. She is being fired by Jim Jones, who has stood by her side through street fights, TV drama, and accusations of infidelity. Sources claim that the reason is not just the leak, but also the fact that it validates a long-running scandal, a betrayal that goes deeper than anyone could have predicted, and that this is more than just reality TV. They don't want the public to know the portion you're about to learn, because once it's out, there's no going back. You're telling me that Chrissy Elkin is the most contentious hip-hop romance after all they've been through, including public breakdowns, reality TV therapy, adultery accusations, and incessant criticism on Instagram? What's going on behind closed doors, baby? This is not only filthy, it is radioactive. I started crying when I saw a leaked video of Camron and Jim Jones. Seemingly done with the whole fucking narrative, he simply got up and walked away. Let's not act like it's simply another hip-hop and love meltdown. It's far more serious. We are discussing betrayal, secrets that should never have been made public, and a triangle that may or may not be real. It could be risky, so just be romantic. Those with knowledge of the situation claim that a hidden video that was allegedly shot years ago has now come to light and seems to depict Camron and Chrissy in a very private environment. Whispers are shared, candles are lit, and Jim Jones is absent. This revelation comes at a bad moment, as Jim is purportedly completing some kind of, because Chrissy is in a complete panic, her team is dealing with the damage, and pals are freaking out. He abruptly left during a private dinner and hasn't returned any calls. It might be a proposal or a full-blown elopement scenario, depending on who you ask. An insider who was unaware of the existence of the video said that she hasn't stopped crying since it became public. It's not what it is, she says. Is Jim's statement that "I can't do this anymore" really your fault? It seems to have happened. The voices are distinct, and the chemistry is evident despite the film's haziness and shakiness. Chrissy's expression is distressed, but it's made worse by the fact that Camron hasn't denied anything. In fact, he posted a strange tweet just hours after the video was made public. People are speculating whether this leak was a mistake, a planned act of retaliation, or a last-ditch attempt to garner attention because Cam and Jim haven't been friends for a long time. That tweet alone has sparked a digital maelstrom. There are ancient scars, history, and anger. Many even contend that the Dipet's aftermath caused significant harm, stronger bond with Chrissy than any of them had anticipated. Is a new battle starting, or is this video the last piece of the puzzle? Let's go back to the vibrant, glitzy, and powerful lives that Chrissy Lemon and Camron Jim Jones led in Harlem at the beginning of the new millennium. First as Jim's girl, then as his ride or die, and last as the one who kept him down when no one else would. She was always there. Fans took note of the tight side-eyes in backstage recordings and the questionable comments made in interviews, even though at the time it was said that Chrissy wasn't always Jim's alone. On a mixtape, for instance, one fan even remarked, "Keep your chick close, or she might end up with the ghost." This was a joke at the time, but it still makes sense now. The addition of love and hip-hop made Chrissy more than simply a +1. She was the impetus, the main focus, and the emotional core of the whole project. Do you recall her national TV proposal to Jim? More than romance, it was history. A woman asserting her authority, challenging norms, and demanding loyalty, but it was also the product of years of pain, exclusion, and loneliness. It's kind of like all that now. According to a verified source from a Love and Hip Hop production crew, all of that work simply blew up in her face with one leak, but this is where things start to get scary. Chrissy supposedly hinted at a tighter relationship with Cam and said some things that were never revealed in some unreleased video. According to the source, she felt abandoned by everyone, which made her angry. She didn't name any of the group members, but we all knew who she was talking about. What if she considered Camron to be more than just a friend? For someone as gregarious and impetuous as Jim, his odd silence, no Instagram stories, no tweets, is unnerving. While some think he's lawyering up, others say he's hiding in Miami. At any rate, his silence is deafening to devotees. Slowing down Improving the audio and comparing tattoos to old photos, they are examining every frame of the released clip as though it were the Zapruder film. The verdict against Chrissy is still in effect, and the internet has become a vast crime lab. However, timing is equally important as the video. She spoke on a podcast last week about trust, second chances, and how she was at least prepared to begin a family, she advised. Who would think that and then wake up? The treachery is not only private, but also public, as seen by the widespread use of hashtags like Chrissy cheated, Cam got receipts, free Jim Jones, which, incidentally, is illogical yet trending nevertheless. But there's more. Jim and I are stronger than we've ever been. A DM is purportedly, "What if I told you Jim's girl was mine?" was posted to a popular gossip page a few months ago by Cam's burner account. It is being taken down at the moment, and everyone is wondering if it is a slow-burning conspiracy or a time bomb that will go off when it hurts the most. It's being circulated, screenshotted, and examined like gospel these days. Mona Scott Young is most likely sipping tea and giggling. It's possible that the whole thing was set up for clicks, contracts, and power, but if so, someone neglected to let Chrissy know that her feelings and breakdown were real. She reportedly experienced a full-blown panic attack during a meeting, according to many witnesses. You can't script the kind of drama that comes with putting together the reunion episode of a lifetime, but perhaps you or someone else can. And if that's acting, give her an Oscar. Chrissy sat at the edge of the velvet couch, silently clutching her phone. She was yelling, trembling, and breathing heavily, saying, "I didn't do this." The silence between them was like thunder, and every breath she took echoed off the walls like dishonesty. Camron's frantic, radioactive video, which includes alleged voicemail recordings from years ago, in which Chrissy seemed to regret ever being devoted to Jim in an angry voice, and worse, hint at a backup plan that had been in place all along, was immediately dissected by fans. Even Chrissy's earlier Love and Hip Hop clips had the same sonic tone. Cam always claimed they were fake, but now that he had evidence that it wasn't merely rumors, insiders stated Jim was being killed in 4K. It had been the wrong person Jim had been faithful to. It with a message that sent everyone into a frenzy. Camron exacerbated the situation. Even as the comment section exploded, Chrissy was plotting. Then, in yet another shocking revelation, a blog that leaks questionable receipts shared a screenshot of their assertions. Jones drove away from their home in a black SUV with tinted windows, his face expressionless, the silence more deafening than a scream. He hasn't spoken to Chrissy or texted her since the video ended. Chrissy remarked, "If this goes left, I know you got me, you always had me." Cam responded using a creative emoji, "I got you like I always did. They just don't know." People quickly began to wonder if Chrissy and Cam were having a secret meeting. By this point, the bloggers were doing more than just reporting. They were also restocking gossip channels and arranging exclusive interviews with the couple's purported friends. Let's just say that I've sensed something wasn't quite right ever since an unnamed source revealed details in a now viral TikTok, while pretending to be a hairstylist for Chrissy's friend group. When Love and Hip Hop executive producer Mona Scott tweeted a mysterious message that contained some truths, the industry started to react. Then what? Chrissy would laugh every name was spoken if Cam wasn't her man's op. Camron and Chrissy were unfollowed on Instagram by Jim Jones, and Chrissy remained quiet on social media. Even celebrities started to leave comments. Yandandi, Smith for instance, tweeted the dubious claim that karma always wins. The unearthed 2007 photo of Chrissy and Camron in a private backstage moment, with Cam's hand low on her waist and her face too close to his ear, seemed to be unquestionable. Proof, despite the fact that it had previously been ignored. In addition to being digital, the response was also financial, as some of the businesses Chrissy had worked with started to sever their connections with her. A jewelry line withdrew her upcoming ad. A luxury wig company she just endorsed archived. All of her collaborative postings, and an online retailer cautioned, "Don't act brand new when the receipts were always there." On the fourth day of the public issue, a fan posted a grainy photo of Jim at a South Beach hotel. Jim looked exhausted, as if he had been duped in every way. Despite her evasive statement about respecting his principles and confidence, Jim has reportedly stayed completely off the radar in Miami, according to those close to the rapper. He hasn't even been spotted at his usual cigar lounge or studio sessions. Camron hinted at a second leak involving documents that would bring the story to a close. But Chrissy remained silent and out of sight. The situation was getting out of hand. As fans started to see Chrissy as a mastermind, rather than the ride-or-die character they had previously thought of her as, memes with titles like Plot Twist Queen and The Real Reason Jim Never Married Her started to appear. Every minute she didn't speak, the internet added 10 more layers to the conspiracy. And just as things were getting out of control, a fresh rumor surfaced, suggesting that Chrissy might have been the one who convinced Jim to break up with Cam in the first place. She sowed the seeds of suspicion years ago to manipulate the narrative and protect her personal information. The question now was not if Chrissy was guilty, but rather how much of as the public feasted on the aftermath behind closed doors, Chrissy was bursting like never before. Her name was trending on response videos, podcasts, gossip pages, and even late-night talk shows for the 6th day in a row. Her lies had taken over Jim's life at this time, and the picture was a complete failure in addition to being a scandal. The house is dark, with broken glass all over the floor and mascara on her linens. Chrissy was reportedly isolated in a remote Hamptons home, avoiding the media and even cutting off contact with her closest friends. An unnamed stylist told a gossip website that she is crying all day and isn't responding to anyone, including her mother. Camron is adept at feeding the public's ruthlessness and voracious hunger. A week after the first leak, Cam made a comeback on Instagram and hinted at a document folder called The Final Straw PDF in his second live stream. The man remained mute for the first 30 seconds, simply nodding and looking into the camera, as thousands of spectators crowded the chat window with the words, "Drop it and finish her." He then presented 2 old, grainy images, but what they appeared to show, Chrissy sitting in one of them, sent social media into a frenzy. Speak less. You all wanted answers. Explain why loyalty is a joke in this industry, why Jim lost faith in teamwork, and why Dipset collapsed. Chrissy follows the unnamed man into the hotel room 5 minutes later. Within an hour, the Charky mystery man was the subject of rumors after Twitter disclosed the man's identity, rather than the Cam. Some even asserted that it was a well-known industry executive. An unnamed man is seen with his arm draped over her shoulder in a dimly lit lounge in a time-stamped security camera screenshot. Chrissy closes her eyes and smiles. The idea that it was an A-list actress who had known Chrissy in Music LA and allegedly wanted part of his business, music, was the most ridiculous. Music. Other sources in the music business speculated that it was a competitor rapper who had made fun of Jim Jones in a 2015 song. It didn't matter what was true. The story had already been rewritten, and the damage had already been done. A third anonymous source, claiming to be a former assistant of Mona Scott, released a recorded voice note in which a woman who sounded eerily similar to Chrissy is heard saying, "Cam knows too much. Not to talk. If he flips, I'm done with him. Jim is going to really desert me this time." The voice wasn't verified, but nobody appeared to bother. After Chrissy's most recent admission, the video went viral and made news. Within 2 hours, it received over 3,000 comments on Reddit, and fans began making in-depth movies about Chrissy's purported manipulation methods. Jim Jones returned to New York. During a solo performance at a club engagement he had scheduled months in advance, York chose to stand in the VIP area with his arms crossed and a drink in hand as the DJ played Dipset classics, rather than rapping or singing. When the crowd yelled, "Chrissy F. Chrissy and Jim as we fly high" came on, he closed his eyes and remained motionless. Some claimed he was praying, while others claimed he was reliving all the falsehoods in slow motion. Pals were reportedly keeping a tight eye on Chrissy back at her hiding spot after she nearly rushed to the emergency room, ER, due to a panic attack. A nurse who wished to remain anonymous told a tabloid that she was having trouble breathing, due to her blood pressure rapidly rising, and she kept crying, "He hates me. He'll never forgive me. It's over." For someone who had courageously traversed the most perilous streets of New York, the "even when I've been told she wasn't correct, you've called me a hater," as if I didn't see past appearances. Known for being straightforward and honest, Jim's mother went live on Facebook and emotionally and verbally seized Chrissy by the throat. Mama Jones, a fourth side, entered the conflict just when the public believed the breakdown could not become much nastier. Chrissy's transformation from ride or die to backstabber was the final nail in her public character. You know who came back. With all that smoke? She never received a ring because of the woman who waited 20 years for one. When savage Mama Jones attempted to defend her kid, she was correct all along, but you guys ridiculed her. Don't overlook it. Mona Scott allegedly intended to re-edit and re-release old Love and Hip Hop footage with new context, disclosing scandal-cut content that they couldn't show at the time, according to a leaked email that a suspicious media source was able to obtain. Because it's game time, this was about reinventing history, not simply betrayal. Relationships with Chrissy One fashion partnership said in a handwritten letter sent to the Shade Room while Chrissy was still missing. I want the truth, not forgiveness, and another partnership sued to stop Chrissy from claiming to be their ambassador. They were suing One fashion partnership for image damage and demanding the return of their $60,000 advance. Jim, who had been by her side through thick and thin, was spotted out there alone and distracted by himself, without his engagement ring, days after her collapse, with only half of the fans expressing sympathy and the other half saying, "Too late. I wasn't perfect, but I never meant to destroy you. I loved you even when I lost myself." The internet crowned Cam the king of Petty Jim the victim after he shared one last meme with the caption, "Love doesn't pay attention." Record labels and streaming services have already approached Cam to share his side of the story in a full-length documentary series, but Chrissy is still silent and hiding while Camron trots on. Scheme of betrayal with no remorse, no conclusion, just chaos.